Welcome to Tech Talk. This morning we're previewing the 2024 Mackinac Policy Conference. The event brings together state leaders and entrepreneurs for a series of talks and workshops.
And this year, in fact, the conference will focus on some key themes critical to Michigan's future. And also new this year, a panel on artificial intelligence and its impact on businesses.
And for more insight on the new panel, we're joined by founder and CEO of Amosite, Anne-Marie Sastry, and CEO of RebrandX, Haj Flemings. Thanks to both of you for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
So, Haj, let's start with you. You're a member of the Detroit Regional Chamber Board. This is the first time AI is going to be talked about at the conference. Why is this such a big deal?
The reason why this is such a big deal, if you look at the White House has established an AI actually like Bill of Rights. And so it's the first time that we will have movement towards AI regulation, right? And so if you couple that with the Mackinac Policy Conference, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the most important convenings from a political standpoint, this gives us an opportunity to be able to facilitate conversations around AI. And I'll kind of frame it with this. There's a great quote from Dr. Arti Pavakator. She's the chief advisor for the president around science and technology. She talks about artificial intelligence being the most consequential technologies of its time. And what I think would be a great outcome is, can we help establish this region, the state, but more this region as an AI hub, right? And so I think this will start to facilitate those conversations, which typically center around economic development and public policy.
And, you know, we mentioned about the panel happening at the conference. And tell us a little bit about your company and what you're planning to bring to that panel.
Thank you. Amosite is an artificial intelligence software company, and we build software tools for the enterprise, for colleges and universities and businesses, and also for individuals. So we recently rolled out apps. Every professional will need an AI. That's a reality, just like every accountant needs a calculator or a spreadsheet. And to Haj's point, regulation has to be thoughtful about this, has to be thoughtful about what innovators are out there doing to provide to people. There are 150,000 nurses in the state of Michigan, and our new app, Nurse Magic, helps them answer questions about medications or helps them deal with a patient and help a patient understand a tough diagnosis, for example. So these are the kinds of AI incursions into our daily life that are actually going to improve our execution, help people do their jobs, and reduce stress.
You know, you just said everyone's going to need an AI eventually. So if you're, talking to students or even professionals, what are some of the things they should be doing to prepare themselves for AI?
It's a great question. So we think about AI coming into different age groups in different ways. For professionals, we'll get these tools. They'll come to us in everything from our regular office software to specialized apps like the ones that we build. In the case of students, this is so important. Students these days, K through 12 students, are what we call AI natives. They grew up with the technology. They see a cylinder on a desktop, they think they can order a pizza with it. AI is everywhere already. But thinking about their futures and being captains of their career, really using AI to think about how not only am I going to understand this technology and the data that I give this technology and what happens to that data and data security, but also no matter what I'm doing, how does this change my study of history? How does this change my study of economics? How does this change what I do as a business professional? Students should be advocating for themselves, learning the technology and bringing it in advance of being told to do that. That's very important.
Get ahead of it.
And obviously there's a huge learning curve, right, when we talk about young people and AI. But what about for those in the workforce? Where does that come in?
So you think about the workforce, I think everyone is going to have to understand that technology has always been an extension of human ability, right? And so even as a state or as a region, we have to figure out how we're going to upskill and reskill our workforce. It's also going to impact, we have to think about algorithmic, I guess, like, impact in the hiring process. So even as we retrain and reskill people, we also have to prepare the actual companies that are going to hire the talent, right? And so I think just getting comfortable with this stuff, because it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. But also part of this policy is making people aware that they're interfacing with it, but getting people comfortable with it. There's been a lot of fear around AI ending humanity and all these other things, but also it's something that's not going to go away. And so I think really getting comfortable and playing around with the technology and embracing it is really where the future is.
Haj, you mentioned fear there. Are there any kind of bills or legislation that you could see Michigan kind of enacting when it comes to AI to maybe reduce people's fear or to help people embrace AI?
So yes, I think it goes back to to the executive order that was put out, I think October 30th, 2023, like by the Biden administration. And so I think you're going to start to see those things start to creep into how we start to legislate and regulate policy here locally, how it's going to impact jobs, and really thinking about what does this look like when we start to look at the automotive legacy businesses and manufacturing. What does that look like for a workforce that that hasn't had to deal with those kind of things? So you're going to start to see laws change, absolutely, and hopefully it'll be towards the better side of how we'll be able to really impact a workforce that is extremely diverse. So.
And I guess, Anne-Marie, just one final thing. I mean, this is obviously an important conversation. I mean, what kind of words would you have for people about AI? I mean, obviously, you wouldn't say fear it. You'd say embrace it, I got a feeling.
Absolutely. Look at your 401k, look at your stock portfolio. The NASDAQ has raced ahead. Amsite is a NASDAQ-listed company, AMST. The reason is because these companies, our companies, are changing the way that people work and live for the better. So yes, there are risks. I'm glad to see regulation come in and be thoughtful about what happens to people's data, be thoughtful about deep fakes, and be thoughtful about how we communicate with one another and make sure, especially that children are safe. Bottom line is, those guardrails are necessary, but in order for our nation to advance, in order for people to advance in their jobs, they can't be without this technology. It is the essence of competitiveness. So get the app, get the platform, educate yourself, and especially for young students, make sure that you're integrating that technology into your career plan.
You just got a little peek into the future. So Ann Hush, thank you so much for being here. We'll have to have you back after the conference and recap the AI conversation for us.